I'm the flyest motherfucker at the kickback. Not a competition, little boy with a wrist that. Meet me in the bathroom, I don't want to chit chat. She not a boyfriend, heard he got a six-pack.
Welcome to the Kickback podcast, everybody. Welcome to the Kickback podcast.
Thank you. Good
We
to
have
be here.
Diamondback. How do you feel, man? How's your morning going?
Pretty good. You know, I'm on the best podcast in the world.
Best podcast in the world. I like it. Heck yeah. But yeah, man, I've been excited to have you on for quite a while. It's just now I'm actually like reaching out to people.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I'm like, hey, I've always wanted you on the podcast. Can I have you on now? And boom, it happened. Here we are.
Yeah.
First time I ever met you was over there at that performance in the, I think it was Kel's performance thing that he did in that one garage.
Yes. His showcase in
Yeah,
I
the
think that was in
showcase.
Upland. Yeah.
Was that like one of your first times performing? How many times have you been performing?
Before that, I had only performed once. And then since then, I've actually done like 3 or 4 other performances. So
So you're getting that experience.
yeah.
Heck yeah. After you sang your song "Sweet Addiction," that's the one that stuck with me. That's the
Okay.
one that, like, I don't know. I left that place, and literally not just me.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, my friend Okeke, Jordan. Like, everybody was just singing "Sweet Addiction" for like a good while. That's just my sweet addiction, you know. So I was
Yeah.
like, he has a good vibe. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see him perform more often,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything just connected together. And I'm always like seeing you perform at all of our friends' performances.
Yeah. It was a great like networking opportunity. Met a lot of great people there. So yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been
Uh,
doing music? Is that your main focus?
Yes, but I can't say that I've necessarily put it first. You know, like you still have to go to like work and
Oh, yeah, for
stuff like
sure.
that, you know. But it's definitely like what keeps me going.
Mhm.
And I've been doing music since I'd say about like 2014 was when I was in high school at the time I started writing.
Mhm. So you started off with writing?
Yeah. And well, I mean, like I've always known that like I could write. Like I've always like written like little poetry type stuff here and there.
Mhm.
But I'd say 2014 was when I started talking to people about like, hey, like I wonder like if I could
Actually
like
do this.
yeah, like start pursuing music, you know.
Mhm.
So I had like a bunch of stuff written in high school. And then once I dropped out of college, that was when it was like, all right, like let's get to it. And I just started putting that stuff together into a project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing music and like this whole music career as just a huge project.
Yeah.
Yeah. You dropped out of college?
Yeah. So I went to Mount Sac.
Okay.
And even there, like I took like a world music class, and you know, they start with the I already forgot what you call them. Like, you know, the
Like the general ed classes?
yeah, the general ed classes. I was taking some of those and all that, and just for me, that was just to see like, is there anything else here that I would want to pursue? Like,
Mhm.
are there any other options for me?
Okay.
And I didn't feel like my passion was anywhere else. Like I felt like music was the one thing that stuck with me all my life.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't really,
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't need this. So it was like, all right, like I'll just,
It wasn't allowing you or like teaching you your own path, like the
Ye-
one that you wanted to follow.
yeah,
And if you did, that's the thing that I've learned with college. It's like you go, but they only teach you what they want to teach you, not exactly what you need to learn. That's
Yeah.
really going to be like made for you to learn.
hmm
So where did you learn music? Like just by practicing at home?
yeah. So actually, like when I first started out,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was terrible. Like I had like
It was
like
terrible.
it was terrible. Like I could like I could rhyme words, you know, like I had like the basics down, I think. But then especially like after I dropped my first project, like right when I dropped the project, just listening to it back and then hearing some of the people that I look up to as artists,
Mm-hmm.
I had to kind of like compare, and then it was just like, okay, I see where I went wrong. And then also figuring out like, what is it about these artists that I love,
Okay.
and how can I apply that to myself?
Okay. So it's just branching out to different styles, learning and adapting, and then implementing it to your own.
Yeah. And then I started watching more interviews, getting more insight about stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Studying their minds.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that helped with me like teaching myself, like, okay, like how do I do that?
Yeah.
know?
So you started studying the science behind the art.
Yeah.
Cool.
much.
What were some people that you like looked into or like researched on?
Joey Badass is for sure one of my
I love Joey
favorites.
Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anybody that follows me knows I love Mac Miller.
Mhm.
I'm always posting Mac Miller stuff. Mick Jenkins, and then even to go back to like some artists like my parents put me on to, like my mom's like a huge Jay-Z fan.
Okay.
So like I'll listen to Jay-Z.
Mhm.
And then even I used to like just scroll through YouTube, and I think it was like BET's channel. They had a thing where they would bring people on to rate certain bars,
Okay.
and they wouldn't tell you like who the artist is. They would just put some lyrics up there. They would read it off, and then people would just say like, oh, like I'll give it like it would go through like 1 through 5. They give it a score.
Mhm.
And sometimes they would bring like OG artists up there, and they would say like sort of figuring out like how it flows when you're just reading it.
Okay.
And
Versus like rapping it or singing it. Okay.
yeah, like just reading it, like how does it sound? Because of course when it's in a song, like it'll sound different.
Yeah, definitely.
their
Like, you could
cadence
just
and
be
all that.
reading the lyrics and you're like, how does that go? But then you
Yeah.
hear someone say it the way they want to say it.
Yeah.
It's just a different expression.
Yeah. And so that helped me realize like, okay, I wrote these cool lyrics, but the way I'm saying it on this song doesn't sound smooth.
Mhm.
Or like realizing like it's not always what you're saying, but how you're saying it. So like a simple sentence, how can I make that sound more poetic and just flow differently, you know?
Yeah, so like you started to learn how to evoke an emotion from your words
Yes.
rather than
definitely.
just simply stating your words.
Yeah.
Got you.
Mhm.
That's really interesting because I've been hearing a lot about that more. How it's one part of that science towards music that you
Mhm.
kind of had to learn and adapt into your style in order to like really get an expression or a reaction from the audience.
Yes.
You know, and one
Definitely.
thing that I've learned, or I guess grasped from your music,
Mhm.
is that it's very smooth, but it's also a lot about, you know, love. You know,
Yeah.
it's very would melodic be a word?
Yeah.
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 Is that what you try to go for?
Yeah. Especially like in the newer music I'm working on now, like I'm definitely leaning more into melodic
Okay.
sounds. And it's funny because I feel like I always kind of throw in like some lovey-dovey type of
Yeah.
song. But I tried to like not really get into it.
Mhm.
It's more this project where I want to lean into it. So it's kind of funny that you already
Yeah.
you caught like
That little
the little
sentiment.
the little love kind of sound that I get into.
Is
Yeah.
there ever like a message that you try to send within all your art or all your music that they all relate?
I wouldn't say they all relate, but I definitely do send a message with everything I write. I feel like all my projects, like I try to tell a story,
Okay.
and it usually will start with like, I feel like most of my projects, like I'll start with a song,
Mm-hmm.
and then I sort of assess like how am I feeling,
Okay.
and like how have I been feeling over whatever span of time. and then okay, let's write about this.
Okay.
And
so
then
how am I going to express myself?
yeah, and then in that I'll sort of pick important topics I think that need to be addressed.
Okay.
Um,
Is there topics that like stand out to you?
Yeah, like I'll use my last project, Constricted, as an
Okay.
example. So
I love the album cover to that, by the way.
thank you. I was really nervous, like getting into the ideas about that, and then the guy just perfectly made it
Popped off.
pop. Yeah, I was like, oh, thank you. So for that one, I actually had already had the idea like maybe like 2 years before.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when like the pandemic hit. And yeah, like everything kind of just like got held back. But I'm kind of thankful for that time to just like sit with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it completely, the sound that I was going for completely changed. I feel like taking all that time alone to just write, like I improved by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting more confident in my pen.
Okay. You started
and then-
developing yourself
Yeah.
and what you want to send out to the world.
Yeah. And then for that project, it was literally me feeling constricted. Like I felt like there was just so much going on in my life where it was just
Yeah.
like I need to breathe, you know, like there was a lot of frustration and sadness in that project,
Stress,
you know.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts off with the song I'm Fine. And I felt like I always called that like my thesis statement.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that was just vaguely addressing a lot of different stuff going on.
Kind of ironic at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
You
I'm
know,
fine, but there's also all this behind the I'm fine.
Yeah.
Ah,
And then
very clever, very smart.
thank you. Because everybody, like everyone, you generally ask, how are you doing? It's, oh, I'm fine.
fine.
But you don't really address how you really are feeling. You don't really get into it with people. But,
Yeah.
And then I wanted the next song to just really kick in and grab attention. That was Maintain. The beat just like really hits when it starts. And it's me addressing like things that we seek to cope, to maintain.
Okay. What are some of those things that we grasp onto to maintain, to cope?
Love.
Yeah,
and
that's a big one.
Yeah. So I address like talking to certain women and they're not actually being something there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can't just go reaching for that attention there. Like you want to like actually build a bond, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drugs,
Women especially.
yeah,
You know, I always go back to that saying: a woman can build or break a man.
yeah.
You know, it's just about how the man approaches the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't just go and approach a woman for your own need. How you said, you actually
Yeah.
have to build that bond.
Yeah. So yeah, like that was pretty much the general idea for that. And then I get into like how do I want to say this? Like
Any way you want, bro.
people who kind of like cling to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lot of times it's like, yo, you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like especially with the song Bang, for me it was like I also wanted to like kind of challenge myself to do a song that brought more energy, something you could play at like a party or kickback or something like that.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to stay true to me. I didn't want to just rap about like nonsense. I wanted to keep
Yeah.
it. So yeah, it was just like seeing a lot of people sort of put on a front, like they're these hard criminals and all that, and I get into this and that, and then they're posting their guns and all this stuff that they do, and it's like, you don't have to do that. Like that's not even being smart. Like, why are
Yeah.
you posting about? It was just,
Would the statement defending a depression count as that?
a statement defending of depression.
Yeah, the statement right there, defending a depression.
Yeah, I think I could see what you're.
You know, something that's not benefiting you, it's
Mm-hmm.
just been hurting you, yet you stay there to defend it.
Yeah,
And you don't like it when anybody tells you that you could be doing better.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I haven't been around all of
Mm-hmm.
those like if I were to go and make music, like I definitely cannot go and rap about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we see a lot of well, maybe not even our friends, but people that we know, how you said, go into the studio and rap about that. But it's like, whoa, hey, do you think, I don't know, today's mainstream music is what kind of enables people to start talking about that more openly?
I think so, because it's what so many people want to hear, and it's something that labels will dump their money into. Like they want to push that.
Yeah.
So I do see why a lot of artists would talk about it to try and, like, hey, I'm over here, look,
and look how good I'm doing because I do it. So at the same time, it's how you said, it's a lot of things that people want to hear. You know,
Yeah.
it's okay because look at me, I'm doing this, all these like sometimes horrible things to other people or even to myself,
yeah,
and I'm doing good. So it's okay if you do it too.
yeah,
So at the same time, I go back to that saying of, it's not, or God will give you what you need, but not what you want. So I start implementing that into, I guess, advice that I take from people or advice that I could give to people just from like the experiences that I've gained. You know, so when I hear some of these, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be about like the violence or like a gang related activities or anything like that. It could be something as like I don't know, like I would say heartbreak could be one, but it's just how you go about the heartbreak. Some people go about the heartbreak with a sense of hatred.
yeah,
It's like, oh, you broke my heart, fuck you. You know, instead of like really showing what the love meant.
yeah. And I think like I'm not perfect. Like I'll still listen to certain artists who do talk about that sort of stuff, but I feel like there's a difference with people just talking about their experiences and what they've been through, and then the people that are just like there's criminals turned rappers, and then there's rappers that
Turn
are
criminal?
just, I wouldn't say turn, but like just rappers that like criminals that just happen to be rappers.
Okay.
Um,
That they had an
like,
art.
yeah, like I think like how I said, like Jay-Z, one of the
Okay.
people I look up to. So
Used to sell crack.
yeah, he did some dirt, but that's not something he's trying to sit in, he's putting his art out there. He's trying to, he's got a family. He's trying to build a life. He's trying to create something. And then there's the people who will do that same stuff, but they're like glorifying it, and they keep going back to
So
the trap. And it's like, dude,
Would
like,
idolizing count?
would idolizing count? What do you mean by that?
Like how you said glorify, would idolize be also one of those terms that would fit into that category?
I think idolizing is more for like a person. So I mean, like if they are looking up to like a certain figure that's there and that keeps bringing them back, I could see that. Yeah.
So
But yeah.
I don't know, these massive influencers, they have so much power in their hands.
Yeah. True.
So it
So,
does
yeah,
depend
yeah.
what they send out. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man, you know, Day
Yeah.
one, Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's cool, especially us as artists. Like, you have a different art compared to what I do, what a lot of other artists do, you know. But it's just I feel like if we really put all of our energy into it, like, do you think that we can actually make a difference in the world?
I think it takes like a bigger pull
Courage
to do that. Yeah, like all of us could sort of unite and sort of take that stance, but you need someone that's like in the spotlight to also bring attention to it. Otherwise it just kind of goes unheard.
collaboration.
Yeah, so like even like a lot of people talking about like the writer's strike.
Okay.
I feel like now would be the perfect time for other artists to jump into that. Like we get paid like 0.00003 cents for every Spotify stream or something like that, you know? And we're definitely underpaid. So why would we not want to jump into this and support this? But you have the top artists who are getting paid and they're already comfortable that aren't going to speak up for it. And I feel like you need that bigger figure to jump into it, and then everyone else will follow suit.
So yeah, that's a good point. Because I don't know, some people are just so focused on the thing that they're doing, and it's super easy to complain, but it's also it's also super hard to just go and fight for what you think is right. You know, take that courage and that honor to actually step up to that challenge. You know, and especially now, like you see, like the whole thing with AI, how easy it is for them to just make a song, and it's becoming really, really good at it.
It's
you know,
kind of scary.
It's kind of scary. Like I've heard an AI Drake drop some bombs. You know, I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm over here, headbanging it and everything. But I don't know. It just takes away from the art that we've developed for ourselves. You know, that individualism.
And I do think like in the long run, I think that could be very scary for us as artists, because like we can be, I mean, they can like attempt to replace us, but at the same time, I do feel like since it's AI, it does lack that emotion in it. And that experience, it's just, you know, it's just a computer putting together some words.
Yeah. But how we said before, it's just telling you what you want to hear. So everyone's just going to jump onto it and just believe that that's what they want to hear.
Yeah, true.
You know, so is it really emotion, or is it just people evoking emotion within themselves?
It's an interesting way to put it. I think it could be both.
How so?
I feel like it just depends on who listens, you know, like some listeners, they're listening for that. Like they want to relate to you. They want to hear your experience. They want to hear you. Yeah. And some people are just kind of like on autopilot listening to music, and it's just, you know, they just go with it.
And there's some people who are on autopilot creating music, you know, just making music for, I guess, everyone else, but they never take the time to develop yourself.
Yeah.
You just said it yourself. You took that time to really develop who you are. And I mean, I'm not expecting that you just already have yourself completely figured out. You know, we learn something new every single day.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess there is an importance to, I guess, humanity, like every single person to go through that struggle and develop themselves.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that way you're not replaceable. You know, you can put in as many robots as you want, but none of those robots is going to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not going to go through that struggle, those hardships, that stress and anxiety, the constriction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you definitely have a voice that you can do. You have a lot of power with, you know, and I think you know how much power you have with it.
that's like one of the, I would say that's also one of the big reasons I do music. Like I want to make that statement. I want to be remembered. I want,
Legacy.
yeah, definitely legacy.
How do
And
you think you can get to legacy? Achieve legacy?
I mean, I think it comes in different forms.
Okay.
So like
Interesting.
even like something I've had to think a lot about is like kids.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay.
that's your legacy. Like if
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily saying like your kids' choices, but just like your name, like that.
Your last name.
Yeah, like that's your family. Like you're pushing that along with your kids, you know? And then like in my music, like to achieve that, I don't know. I think it's just there. Like as long as you put something out there that sticks with someone,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a single quote that sticks with someone. Like they're gonna remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
like,
it's like at the same time, it's like what you said is
mhm,
remembered, but are you remembered as the artist?
I would hope so.
Yeah, right.
But you know,
I think maybe consistency
mhm,
comes with it. Just always being there and showing up for yourself
mhm,
so you can show up for different people.
yeah,
Yeah, and they just always consistently spreading those messages.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. You definitely do have to show that like you're living like whatever message it is that stuck with them, like you're living that.
Yeah.
You are that. So you become more than just a quote. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So you're not just the art, you're the artist.
Yeah.
It's like the Sistine Chapel. Like people can remember the Sistine Chapel. I always go back to it because one of my favorite works of art, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people recognize the Sistine Chapel for itself. But if that was the only thing that was ever made, I mean, are they remembering the Sistine Chapel or Michelangelo? You know, and you see Michelangelo's work. We talk about it so many times.
Yeah.
He has statues that he would work day and night for. That dedication, the consistency, the sacrifices that are made. I feel like people take note of that. And with your music, do you think that there's a certain way to, I guess, evoke that thought in people of like, this is how much I've gone through. This is what I've learned, my experiences.
I think all you can really do is just like try your best. Like we've talked about you know, trying to word lines a certain way to, like you said, evoke an emotion. But at the same time, there's plenty of people out there that aren't going to hear it. They're not going to really grasp it. So all you can really do is try and just put it out there and hope that it's received well.
So just keep trying your best.
Yeah, like in simple terms.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. Simple. It may be super simple, but that's just really how simple it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for a lot of people, they see how hard it is to always be maintaining that consistency of just trying to be your best every single day. And a lot of people just stop trying.
Yeah. And like I honestly, like at the same time, like I get it. Like even with like Ergy, shout out to him.
Shout out Ergy.
When he released, I think it was Pressure, he put like that passage about like how he was feeling as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he's talked about like Ergfest and stuff like that, you know, trying to get his own thing going. And I can see as like how as an artist, like it gets rough. Like
Definitely.
you want to get something going, and then there's people that just aren't showing up for you how they should.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, just stay consistent, keep trying your best, and work on the foundation so that like you do continue to like garner that attention. Eventually more people are going to be like, you know what, whatever, let me see what this dude's talking about, or let me see
Okay.
let me go see how they perform, let me go see this. And then you got to take that opportunity to just grasp it, like, and now they're stuck with you. Like he really left an impression on me, and they're there.
Yeah, I've brought it up before. I was watching the Nike Air movie with Michael Jordan, right?
Okay.
And the whole scene where they're making that deal that they want to have Michael Jordan to be part of Nike.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we'll do our part, but you have to continue to be the best because we know you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just for the short term.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want you to be remembered forever. And I think by our collaboration of us both trying to be the best and promote the best to everyone, I feel like that's going to be the only way to make more people want to be the best as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I feel like the people who will really listen, they're either already trying every single day to be the best, or they really want to.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard step.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy step to take. Probably takes like a lot of self-reflection and willpower. Yeah. So.
It's I don't know, because to achieve a sense of greatness, like you see how much work really goes into it.
Yeah.
I can see how people can just stray away from that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot. But I don't know, maybe there's something more to art that I still haven't figured out completely.
Okay.
And it's just how powerful it is. I have a tattoo on my arm that says art is the solution to chaos.
That's a dope quote.
Right? Think about that for a second. Like some of the biggest wars in the world have stopped because of poetry or music or painting or something that sends a message.
Yeah, I definitely think art, like, it really brings people together, because like who doesn't like music? Like who doesn't listen to music, find something that they enjoy? I think all of that, and then even for some people, them going to whatever art it is that you create, finding that outlet for yourself gets rid of all that built up anger, sadness, whatever it is that you're going through. It's giving yourself an outlet, and now you don't fall victim to that chaos, and you don't lash out. You don't do certain things that could result in chaos.
So you allow yourself, by expressing your art, do you think it allows you to find a peace within all of the chaos around you?
Definitely. I do feel like to be honest, like when I am writing, that's probably when I am most like emotional.
Okay.
Because I'm, how I said, like I'm like assessing how I'm feeling, and I'm putting it to words. But then in the long run, like once I get that verse or that song, or I complete that project or something like that, once I'm finally done with that, then it's like, all right, like I can now put this to bed. And then after that is when I find peace in myself.
Okay. Reflection.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, us as people back then, like we would use each other to just reflect on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, be able to talk to somebody about literally anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to bring with this podcast, I guess, just to literally be able to talk about anything. We could talk about dolphins if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, and we probably will. Like somehow, some way, we
Yeah.
just end up getting there. You know, but I don't know. After that isolation period that we had, we just had to reflect on ourselves. You know, and really get to know yourself. So now that we're kind of breaking away from that isolation, it's more like now we kind of have to use the opportunity to reflect on other people. You know, I write a lot too, not music, but I write a lot in journals literally every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I can see myself in the future, and just like if there was a shelf along that top row, I probably have that full thing just full of journals. You know, that's kind of excites me just because it's gonna show the progress and the growth.
Yeah.
You know, all the things that I could reflect back on that maybe I couldn't reflect onto other people. You know, but art is that expression that allows you to reflect onto other people, and they'll reflect back at you.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
you look at a painting, you stare at it for hours on end sometimes. You know, you're just like, wow, like you're kind of sensing what that artist was feeling. You know, I think that's a huge power with art.
Especially like with like paintings and drawings and different stuff like that, because everyone receives it a different way.
Yeah.
So like that, it's interesting to make one thing that can be interpreted so many different ways and still help like such a variety of people. You know what I mean?
Such a variety of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that everybody's going through the same world in their own way. You know, so it's kind of cool listening to different experiences or capturing different experiences. There was this one thing I said it before in the podcast. That artists, you know, what is an artist? They defined it as an artist is a highly emotional / sensitive person who has gathered up all your experiences, creates something, and then goes back to share it with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Didn't you ask? Was it Ryan? Did you ask that?
I don't know if it was Ryan that asked that. Maybe.
Oh, man. So I do.
I think it might have been Ryan. Yeah.
I do agree that artists are sensitive, emotional. Like I've had people call me sensitive, and it's like, yeah, like I am. I put that emotion into words. I don't think you necessarily have to share it with people. What you create is what you create, and maybe it's not something you're vulnerable enough to share with the world. But
do you think that's why you write?
Yeah. Like to share it with the world. Is that what you...
Or maybe because it's something that's more vulnerable that you don't want to share it with the world.
I mean, I have both. Like, I do think I want, like, there's some stuff I do want to share with everyone.
Okay.
Some things, there's like, I kind of have like a list of things in my head that I know I still want to talk about, but maybe I'm not in a position in life where I'm comfortable enough to do that yet.
What do you think like stops you from just saying it?
Different things, like certain stuff like might be about my family.
Okay.
And it's like I'm not ready to put my family on blast like that, you know? Or I don't know how, like, maybe if I'm writing about someone specific, I don't know how they'll receive this yet. Like, I don't know if like how they'll react.
Yeah.
And there's even certain songs where like maybe with like friends, like it's not even my story, but it's just like I feel you on that, and it inspired me to write this. And like I'll talk to my friends about it, like, hey, like, is it okay if I, do this?
The intention behind it?
No, not necessarily the intention, because like I'll talk to them about that too, but just like this isn't my story, like this is about you, so like you just never know how someone will react to that. Like I don't want to put that, like I don't want that out about me. I don't want to hear that. So I don't know. I think it's just like a certain respect level to just like
Okay. What if it's like a message that you just need to express? Like there's something in you that's just telling you, I need to put this out. It's gonna hurt a lot of people. It could hurt a lot of people because it's just that powerful, but it needs to go out there.
Something like that. Like I just do it.
It's a sacrifice you have to make.
Yeah, but certain things that like relate to me, it's just like I'll have it. Maybe I have it written, or maybe I just haven't found the words for it yet, and it's just like I'll just kind of keep that in the back of my mind until it's out there. I think like your point about like artists like sharing stuff with people, it's just I don't think it makes it, like, art is beautiful and it doesn't make it any less beautiful whether someone else sees it or not.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Because I can see that, how sometimes it is hard to express that art if it is about somebody else or something that's just within you that you've been wanting to say, but you don't know whether you should say it or not. But I don't know, like suppressing your thought for the sake of somebody else's feelings. But sometimes it's like it's more of just by, I wouldn't say the hate. It would just be like I'm putting this out on the table, right? You can get offended, you can get hurt, but I just want you to understand.
And I mean, sometimes I do, I'll find like another way around it. Like if it's something that I do want to talk about, like I might just throw like a couple lines in here somewhere, or like allude to it just to sort of like still get it out there.
Okay.
Without it being so heavy.
Yeah. But I mean, when war approaches you, it's like
yeah. And I think also like I'm a very how would I say it? Like I think I'm very like laid back, and like some people say like I've been described as like, oh, like he's really like grounded.
Okay. Present.
Yeah. So like I don't want to write something that, well, I mean, I might write it, but I don't want to share something that might come off like too harsh when I haven't really sat with it for long enough to like assess my feelings. Cause like I could put that out and then it's like, like maybe I did too much, And I mean, for some people it might just be like, like that's just like the trials and tribulations of, just putting your art out there. Like you could hate it later, but I want to be sure that I get my messaging right. You know what I mean?
That's cool. So it's like think before you say.
Yeah.
That's good. That's definitely a good way to go about life.
Yeah.
Some people just out here just spitting shit out of their ass sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it really just from you saying that, it kind of gives me like a perspective of the type of person that you are. How you said, I do get that. You're more laid back. You're more grounded. You take your time with things because you want it to be right for not just you, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see how that benefits everybody around you.
Thank you.
So I would say just
Yeah.
keep doing that for sure. You know, that's definitely a good way into putting thought into art. And I
Yeah.
feel like if I don't know how I said before, when that war approaches you, you'd know how to be ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, because you've taken the time to really think and know the, I guess, maybe not weaknesses of the opponent, but just the overall truth of the situation.
At the same time, though, like with taking your time as an artist, I feel like at the same time, it's something I do want to sort of tweak. Like, definitely take your time with your art, but at the same time, I do like how certain artists are able to just like go in and just write. Like, I'm not someone that's like constantly writing like pages and pages. You know what I mean? But when I do get to it, I'm confident in it. And I do want to work on like, you still got to care for people, but to an extent, like, can I cuss?
Yeah, dude, I've been cussing this entire fucking time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. Like to an extent, just like not give a fuck, and sometimes you just gotta just jot it down right away.
Yeah.
And not take so much time to think about everything. Like just put it down and get to it. You know. So yeah.
So worry about everything else afterwards. Just have the courage to step up to it now.
Yeah.
There's this movie, I forgot which movie it is, but it says that it's like you do the thing that scares you now and then worry about the fear later.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I feel like I don't know, fear is one of those things that does control a lot of people. You know, whether it be the fear of what they're gonna think about you, the fear of losing friends, the fear of, I don't know, maybe even just losing yourself. You know, but it's
do you have like an irrational fear?
An irrational fear.
Yeah.
Irrational fear. I don't know about irrational. Cause what do you mean by irrational?
I don't know, just like something random. Like that's
Something
not
random that,
yeah, like you know, like people afraid of like clowns and stuff, you know.
clowns was one of those. Clowns was definitely one of those, bro. I did not trust clowns. There was this one time where I was invited to the circus and I didn't go because I knew there was going to be clowns there.
Oh my goodness.
But you know, you have to step up to that challenge sometimes and you're like, man, I fuck up a clown.
Yeah.
You know, not give a fuck and be like, listen, I'm gonna be scared, yeah, but I know that I can get through it. I think that's something that comes with maybe a warrior mentality. What do you think about that? A warrior mentality of having that?
I think that's it's definitely something important to have. You know, you got to face your fears.
I mean, we see on a go for it.
It makes me think though of like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Cause but like at the same time, like he had I don't remember what interview it was, but he had a quote about like how it's so difficult for him to turn off that sort of warrior mentality. Like it's just
after being around it for so long.
Yeah. So like it's definitely important to have, but just don't get so absorbed in it. You know what I mean?
I think guys, I don't know, for Mike Tyson, I could see that warrior mentality, but I think it happened more after his boxing career and everything. Because like you look at like some documentaries or how he was like put into boxing and everything, and I wouldn't say that he was turned into a warrior. I would say he was turned into a beast. You know, and so when the people who looked after the beast, the people who cared for the beast and made him docile, were gone, what was the world left with? You know, just a beast.
Yeah.
You know, but then afterwards, he starts learning the compassion from others around him, and it's like I'm no longer fighting for myself, fighting for everybody else.
Yeah.
And sometimes the opponent in front of me might not be somebody that I have to mess up, but it's more of somebody that I have to love.
Yeah.
So I guess a warrior, it just depends on what you're fighting for.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Because I don't know, I feel like a warrior mentality is definitely important. Not even just like in artists or in athletes or in a boxer. It's just something that us as humans have, but we've suppressed a lot.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think we suppress our warrior mentality?
Why do we suppress our warrior mentality?
What stops us?
I think a lot of things could stop that. Like, just even like in your, I feel like we get so caught up in just going through the motions, like just wake up, go to work, go home, eat, sleep. Like you don't, I think there's a lot of things you need to have a warrior mentality with. But you just get so caught up in the cycle
that you get comfortable.
You get too comfortable with what you're doing, and you need to, sometimes you just need to like sit back and realize like, you know what, like this was wrong, or like, you know what, maybe I should have fought harder for this. But you know, you just kind of get complacent.
That's a word that's been sticking with me a lot with throughout this like past 2 weeks or so. Complacent. It's that I've noticed everybody in this world, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people in this world are okay with being complacent. And it's been almost, I wouldn't say forced, but like fed onto the people to believe that being complacent and not fighting for what you think is going to do better for you and for the ones around you is the better option. Like, why go through the struggle?
Yeah.
But you can just be chilling the entire time and not have to worry about anything. It comes with a sense of duty. Duty as a man, duty as a person.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a fear of not living up to your duty that stops them going into that warrior mentality.
Yeah, because if you sort of feel like you won't get there, then you figure why bother fight? Yeah, why bother fighting for it?
Would that come with a sense of nihilism? I think that might be nihilism, to be honest. So are we living in a nihilistic society?
I think you could say that.
You know, when there's just so many things that you should be doing, so many things that you should be believing, should be feeling, thinking, right? That sometimes a lot of people think that it's too much. So how you said, it's like, why even try? I'll just do whatever I want. But you also see the dangers in that, in people doing whatever they want. Sometimes it comes and directly affects you, you know, by letting them do whatever they want and being that good person to them. Sometimes they'll just stomp all over you. So it's like, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for the comfort of somebody else?
Sometimes you just got to put, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were saying about like with my writing. So like there are times where you just have to put other people's worries behind you. And yeah, I do think, to you asking about the warrior mentality, like there are exceptions, because like say you have wife and kids, you can't put them behind you. You have to, I feel like that's sort of a time where you nurture.
Okay.
And you have to care about their needs and their wants, and you have to do certain things that may take back your like
own,
dial back your warrior mentality.
your own comfort.
Yeah, because you have to make that compromise for your family.
The good of your family.
Yeah. And then yeah, there's other times where you got to go fuck it and fight for it. So
because you see families a lot, like I'm going through right now, you know, but you see families break up a whole thing for the benefit of somebody. Like divorce has skyrocketed over the past years, over 80% even now. You know, it's become the most normal thing in marriages, and that's so sad because it's like this is what we're promoting with love.
Yeah.
You know, but then you start breaking it down, and it's like it's because usually it's one parent who doesn't want to live up to that duty and more wants to stick to themselves about I don't know, finding the comfort within just doing whatever they want.
Yeah. I do think we've lost certain in simple terms, like we've sort of lost love in a way.
Wow.
Certain I know it's like
No, because I do get what you're saying.
yeah, but like there's certain like foundations, like certain things we should do, certain things we should care about, certain you know, like little things that we've lost in love.
Yeah.
And I could see why divorces have skyrocketed. Like people are concerned about the wrong things, and they're sort of like easily manipulated into certain things where it's just like you
Easily manipulated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of that is due to like the internet.
Oof. Media, yeah, influence.
So yeah, I feel like some of those things have like influenced, like it influences certain decisions you make and how you go about certain things. And that can definitely fumble a whole marriage, you know? Because the foundations weren't really there, you know?
Do you think now there's a false foundation to love?
In a lot of people, yeah.
In a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't like to say like everyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
what about
yeah.
love in general? And maybe not to like everybody, but the whole concept of love. Do you think there's like a whole new foundation to love that I guess we're just not used to because we're just so focused on the foundation that it was?
Yeah. But I think at the same time, like it's sort of natural. Like the world's not going to stop. We're going to continue advancing and finding new things, having new wants. And
But at the sacrifice of love.
Yeah, like you sort of have to like adapt to the times, but at the same time it shouldn't
Have to make you conform.
Yeah. In a sort of way. Also just like certain want, like I guess I shouldn't say that the foundation would change. Cause like what's in my head right now is I'm thinking like I don't know, years ago, like let's think like centuries ago, like
Okay.
she wanted a goat.
Okay.
So you got her the goat.
Yeah. Here, have a go, baby.
Yeah. And like now something different. Like maybe she wanted flowers. So get her the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Or, just like to keep it basic, like stuff like that. That should still be held on to.
So just giving the woman what she needs, or giving your not even just the woman,
Yeah.
the partner, being able to live up to that standard of their needs.
Yeah.
You think that's been lost? Standard?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that.
No, that was just a question.
Yeah. So like I don't think that's completely been lost. I think maybe like the lines are just sort of blurred there in a way. Like you might do it, but you don't really understand it. And maybe the person that wants it doesn't really know why they want it. And that's just because you've been influenced by these certain people. And it's not really something you give a fuck about, but you're told to give a fuck about it.
Yeah. So you just think that you want it, but you don't even know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely see that a lot. Like if we can go back to the I don't know, even attention. Like some people just want attention.
Yeah.
They want somebody to be looking at them the entire time. And why?
Exactly. You don't.
I don't know. I don't know why you want the attention, but then they give it to you, and then it's something that you didn't want all along. I don't know. We see that a lot. We see, and then the sacrifice comes in. Where you go for what you want, but then how you said it wasn't what you wanted all along. So what do you do then once you really did make that ultimate sacrifice? That's a question that's still trying to be figured out today. I think that's a big question for the world in general. When you gave up on all these needs and sacrificed it for what you want. Like I think a family needs each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I feel like we can all agree on that. If everyone's benefiting, if everyone's doing good, but if it just takes one person in that army to betray, and the whole empire falls. Look at Rome. Everyone started doing what they wanted, and boom, dismantled. Such a strong empire that took years to really, one, build a foundation and grow that foundation and expand. But just like that, it was crushed. So it kind of shows like now are people even focused on building a foundation? Do you think that's one of the problems that we go through?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people ask enough of the like heavy questions when they're getting into stuff like that. I feel like much more people now are the go with the flow types.
Yeah.
And that can't always fly. Like you go with the flow and then you end up in like a situationship.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what's what. You don't know, like, does this person give a fuck? Does, what are they moving towards? And yeah, I think people just need to first figure out like what it is that you want, where you want to be, what you want to get to. And then start asking those bigger questions with other people to build on,
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens enough. I think a lot of people just going with emotions.
Because by going against the current, You know, you have to sacrifice that sense of comfort that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Going into those deeper questions, like nobody wants to talk about it because
Yeah.
someone's either gonna end up mad or
Mm-hmm.
someone's gonna end up hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like it's not about getting hurt
Yeah.
or feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
It's about understanding,
Yeah.
you know,
It's just
understanding
like
those deep questions.
Yeah, it's just like figuring out like I have this checklist of things that
Mhm.
I want, and is that gonna work? You know, like that. I don't think that's too much. You know.
Yeah. I mean, you could even implement that into how you were telling me that you create your music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you took the time to really build that foundation
Mm-hmm.
to know if there's a little crack here, if there's a little crack there,
Mm-hmm.
and just be able to solidify it as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when those deeper questions start approaching,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to rely on your foundation to hold it together,
Yeah.
you know, because you can crack at any moment with those deep questions,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but if you've taken the time to really build that foundation, you know, it's going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
You know, I think that might be one thing that could be missing in people,
Mm-hmm.
taking the time to build their own foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when you're able to expand on your empire, you know, maybe it's the empire is in love, maybe, you know, but when you're ready to expand your empire, you're ready to take somebody else's strong foundation too, combine them, and boom, your empire is glorious. It's wonderful. It's so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess, like even hookup culture,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's become the regular.
Yeah.
You know, you fuck around with this girl, fuck around with that dude,
Mm-hmm.
but everything I don't really know. I don't understand all of that.
Yeah. That's I've never been into that. Like, sorry. Like I've done it, and it just like I've instantly just felt like sick. You know.
Yeah, there's something in your stomach.
Yeah, like when you just like feel guilty and you just like feel it all.
Yeah,
like,
all throughout
in
your
your
body.
yeah,
That's your
it's just-
subconscious.
Yeah, it was just like I can't get into this. Like this isn't something I want. So yeah, I've never really been into hookup culture.
Yeah, but like you can see how that kind of like setting no standard for yourself. Yeah, it's gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it hurts the other person too.
Mm-hmm.
Yet people are willing to make that ultimate sacrifice at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how this world is slowly going to change
Mm-hmm.
for the better, but I definitely think it starts with each individual person trying to make themselves better.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm glad that I see you and you've taken the time to really understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are the friends that I would want around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I could only see, how I said before, you doing better for not only the people around you, but eventually, once you start learning your craft and your art
Mm-hmm.
and expressing it to the whole world, I can see how you have the power to make a whole difference in the entire world.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just starts with having that deep conversation that nobody else wants to have.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, like when was the last time you talked to somebody on a deeper level like this?
Actually, like my mom and stepdad, they're like really supportive. They're really big on mental health. So like I do open up to them often, like if something's going on, or like even with like my friends, maybe if I'm like struggling with something like in my music or something in my personal life, like I'm really open with like my closest friends and my parents. But this is a different setting, you know, it's a different vibe. So like I've never done anything to this extent, but I do have
That
people
support
in
system.
I do have that support system that I have those deeper conversations with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then ego, when it comes to play in these conversations, I think that's what destroys everything.
Yeah.
I've gone back to this quote by Rick Rubin. It's that ego is the enemy of creativity. You know, we want to create these emotions. We want to create our art. We want to create us as human beings, you know, as a person, create us to the best that we can, how we were talking about. But once ego starts slipping into it, whether it be from yourself or from somebody else, like you can see how it can destroy you, you know? And I don't know, like, do you think this world is being fueled by ego now?
Yeah. But I think, I mean, it depends what you mean by that, because I think ego has always been a factor.
Oh, okay.
Down to like kings and queens, like they, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah, I think ego has always been a factor in people letting their egos drive even like decisions that affect the masses. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. You have to consider everyone. Like I said, like down to the kings and queens. Like you can't just, oh, he said this, like we're going to war. Like what? Like no.
What do you mean we're going
like,
to war?
No, like you know, talking about like.
Yeah. That's why. Like, what do you mean we're going to war? Like we're going to war for no reason because you felt like it.
Yeah.
Your ego is showing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of, again, creating. Like you create, instead of the king wanting to go to war, what does he create?
Yeah.
He creates peace. And that's what solidifies the kingdom. And when I think of it, because I do go to those terms a lot, kings and queens, right? I have my little crown here. I was considering myself like I try to be a king, but that humble king, you know, that wants to create a kingdom, your mind, as best as you can, you know? And then by me having a solidified kingdom, anybody who enters my world, my kingdom, right? I feel like it's only going to be a good experience, right? But then you have these bad kingdoms who are telling you that could be good for you, right? But at the same time, they're willing to destroy yours at any moment.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate the difference between the two?
I think that gets tricky.
It does, yeah.
I think you just kind of have to read between the lines.
Those blurry lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's something you have to pick up and you have to learn from. Like, I think everyone has had someone that, how did you say it? Like a kingdom you thought was good and
your kingdom that you thought would benefit you, but in reality it ended up causing to your destruction.
Yeah, I feel like everyone has experienced that to an extent, and you just have to learn from it and then look out for those signs later on with these other kingdoms,
with these future relationships that you have with these different kingdoms. Yeah, because
I don't think that just comes naturally, you know.
Yeah, so it comes over time through experience.
Yeah.
And how we said before with art, it is about just collecting those experiences, because that's, I think, what makes the best art. You know, you take that into a human, you know, God's first form of art, right? He took his time with it. But it's like you just said, there's a lot of ego in this world. So when you know that ego destroys the creativity, it kind of it alarms me, thinking like, if there's a lot of more ego shown within people, could you imagine how much creativity is going to get done? It's almost like now it's more of, we're leading to a destruction of the people, of ourselves, you know? I really like the fact that we are artists, you know, and that we were able to thrive through that creativity, how I said before, you know, because it shows you a deeper truth, and not about yourself, but about everything.
Yeah.
Do you do you think that finding truth within the world impacts your art onto a deeper level?
Yeah. I think that gives you new like it gives you new information, new ideas,
New perspectives.
Yeah, new perspectives to put into your art.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like even like not even just the world, but just like just information in general, as you like even like something as simple as like taking a trip somewhere
Okay.
and just like experiencing other new stuff like that. That all comes back to you and it helps improve your art.
And it also
Gives you,
evokes that emotion within you. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever been somewhere and you leave there and then sometimes you just, like, even the smell, you're like, oh, like that takes me back to that one time where I went this place,
Yeah.
you know? So you get that sense of enlightenment at the same time. Something so beautiful within you that it's like I can feel myself I can feel myself up a lot more with these type of experiences. But is everyone still looking out for these experiences? I feel like the way that the world has been like kind of forming is kind of taking you away from the ability to experience those experiences. What do you think about that? Complacency.
Yeah, that's kind of, I was like literally just gonna repeat that. Like I feel like the world keeps moving, and you gotta keep showing up, doing your daily routine, your cycle, and it takes you away from like living. And sometimes you like it takes you away for too long to be able to get those experiences.
That deeper understanding.
Yeah, like that's something we should spend like these prime years doing. Like you want to travel more, you want to get to do all this other stuff, to get to experience all this stuff, but we're busy going through the cycle.
The rat race.
Yeah.
And the little freaking wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I always think about that, and I talk to my dad a lot about that, and it does sadden me because I know how much, like, especially our generation, we're still very, very young.
Yeah.
But a lot of those, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of those opportunities that are there, we just can never reach because we can't step out of that little wheel that we're in. There's no time for it. There's no room for trying something new.
Like a quote my mom used to always say, and I personally never liked the quote, was work now, play later.
Work now, play later. Okay.
And it's like, I don't want to play later when I'm older. Like, why can't I want to like live now? Why do I have to work, and then hope that I make it long enough to then be able to play? Like that's not living. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like we need to get out more and experience more while we're young.
Work now, play later. But I think if it's also the perspective of how you go about that quote.
True, that too. Yeah.
Because I see that part. It's like, I don't want to be working all the time, so that way maybe I'm able to play later.
Yeah.
But it's also, I take it as you're not really working, because like when you do music, like you could say that you are working in a way. You're doing your thing, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you don't think about it as work. You're thinking about it as I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I can make everything work. So it goes vice versa. At least in my mind, the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Work now, play later. Because
like I hope that's what's like how you put it. Like I hope that this is the work she's talking about. But I always perceive that as literally going to work and going to work, going to school, doing all that stuff, and then you get to retire and now you can play. You know, it's like no, why wait?
And I feel like that probably worked back then, but now the way everything is shifting, again, the world's always moving, but we have to stay in the same place. The place that we were in 20, 30 years ago isn't the same place that we're in now.
Yeah.
So maybe those things that we're just in that complacent spot shouldn't be the spot that we should be in anymore.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe it's like a different perspective that the older generation before us still sticks by and stands by. But I mean, we see now, like, that's only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
You know? And the way our dreams are, the way our goals have been sculpted, it's like you know that you can shoot for the moon and just aim at the stars, you know? But now, I mean that mentality back then of like work now, play later, like you take that into today and it's like you're not even going to shoot anymore.
Yeah.
You know? You're always going to be in that same spot, getting ready to shoot, but you just never let go.
Yeah.
What do you think about letting go?
Some aspects that's very important. Because it could be like letting go of certain emotions that might be like sort of holding you back.
Fear?
Yeah, like fear. Maybe you're so angry about this one thing that your focus should be here. Like let go of that. Maybe you have some resentment towards something, like just let go of that. Letting go of what someone wants you to be. Do what you want to do. What brings you happiness in this life? What fuels you? What keeps you going? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you can benefit from letting go.
But there's also a lot of dangers that come with letting go.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's what, again, how we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast. That's one thing that stops people from letting go. It's that fear that if what I'm letting go, is it something worth keeping? Or is it something worth leaving?
Yeah.
Like, what would you do if you were to have to be put in the position where you had to let go of your music?
That would fuck me up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like like when I say like it's what keeps me going, like it's literally what keeps me going. Like I said, like when I write, like that's when I'm at like a low point to in the future find that peace, you know, like to get that off my chest, to get my peace. So it's like if that's taken away from me, it's like that's just there, like that's stuck in me, you know what I mean? Like that, yeah, I'd be fucked up if I had to lose my music. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because you're losing something that you really love. But it's going to be for the benefit of somebody else, how we were talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think music is something I'm always going to put first. Even like whoever's in my life, like that's, for me, that's my number one.
But you have to find that balance between the people and your music. Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard. Especially when that balance, it's limiting or halting your music. You know, it's like, I want to go all in this, but there's a whole bunch of limitations that are holding me back now. So it's like, how do I move?
Yeah.
I'm constricted.
I think you can I think you can still work through the balance, find your compromises and stuff like that. But like letting go completely, that's for like your passion, that's different, you know.
Yeah. I remember there was a time where people were thinking that you shouldn't even work like focused on your passions. You should just be doing what you gotta do. But what if what you gotta do is your passion?
Yeah.
You know, you were gonna about to say something.
No, I'm like absorbed when you talk. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you just have like great quotes, like off the top. Like,
Thank
yeah,
you. I
you're
appreciate that. But it's I don't know, my art that I've been learning a lot more of is conversation. You know, and I've gathered these experiences and all these questions from so many different sources. You know, I've done my research just like you've done your research on Joey Badass or Jay-Z. You know, I listen to all these people who are talking consistently to so many different people. So it brings a lot of questions to my mind. And sometimes it could be like something like really, really dumb, like a really dumb question, but it's just something I've never put a thought to. Like, I don't know. What do you think music sounded like? What was the first? I wonder what the first types of music sounded like. Like playing through the kingdoms, trumpets, drums, probably drums.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, I would think straight to like the roots of Africa and like you know, playing the drums and stuff like that. And then yeah, probably like what you said, like trumpets and stuff in the kingdom, and then you add drums to that, and
Or maybe not
and then,
trumpets,
you know,
but horns.
or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The vibration in the beat I've heard is something that's very empowering to the soul. This imagine waking up to like the power of a drum. Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Definitely, there's like a
Heartbeat.
there's a science to like sounds, you know.
Yeah. Frequencies, vibrations.
Yeah, like I think like the peak of that would be like I don't really listen to a whole lot of like electronic music, like
EDM.
EDM and stuff. Yeah, but I'm sure to get those millions and millions of fans, you have to think about like, what is this sound going to bring out of people, you know?
Okay, so what emotion is this gonna evoke?
Yeah, you can't just put some random stuff together. You have to think about like, okay, this goes here, this sound goes here. I want to do the whoop whoop whoop, and then that gets everyone going, and you know,
whoop 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 whoop
Yeah.
whoop 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 whoop.
yeah,
Break it down. Just fucking starts.
Exactly.
Everyone starts going crazy. Yeah. It's but how I said before, understanding the science behind the art. I feel like once you start understanding that little piece in the whole aspect of art, you start really putting the puzzle together. You know, and you can. It's like you transformed your art from this, like, I guess, a smaller aspect or genre to something so wide in range that no matter who listens to it, they're gonna like it. A certain piece of it. How humans work, how God works. You know, I said it before. I sent it in a group chat. That's service to God, right? It's like if you know what He likes, everybody's gonna know what they like at the same time. Once you release that little piece that you've made.
Say that one more time for me.
So like you make your art as a service to God.
Okay.
Right? And by knowing that He likes it, you feel like a wider range, maybe not everyone, but a wider range of people are going to like it regardless of where they're from or the things that they like to feel. What would be an artist that you think is like has accomplished that wide aspect where it can be somebody who listens to EDM, somebody who listens to heavy metal rock, and then country, that they can all listen to it and still end up enjoying it.
Michael Jackson's the peak of that. Like
You think Michael Jackson?
Like who hasn't heard Michael Jackson, or like has a Michael Jackson song that's like, you know what, like
Yeah,
he did his thing, you know?
that's a really good one, actually. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was something, man.
Yeah.
The things that he was doing within his music or even within his dancing, he was just like this character now. So it went beyond his art. People started admiring the artist.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That was interesting. But yeah, it's really cool. Do you think you would want to get to that state where people recognize you as the artist and not just your art? Or would you want it to be the opposite? Or both?
Probably both, because I've told myself that, like, in music, like, I don't know, it's complicated, because like sometimes when I get like, when I'm like really, really in like my rapper bag, like I'm putting together like crazy rhymes, you know, like putting together all these different metaphors and stuff, and I like kind of get like cocky within myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking at like the landscape of like all these other artists, and I'm just like, damn, like I could be better than so many more of you. And then it makes me like want to be like top dog, you know?
Okay.
But then at the same time, like I've told myself that I don't necessarily care to have that level of fame. Like I just want to, I want to be able to make music at a point where I can support myself and my family. I don't necessarily have to have like millions and millions of dollars and just.
So you don't want to be alpha.
You know what I mean? Like to an extent, I do.
You want to be Sigma.
No, like I want like. I guess then I would say I do want my art to be up there with the alphas.
Okay.
But just I don't need to be in the spotlight like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I was looking through that because I've always heard about that, the alpha man, you know, the alpha person, you know? And I was like, I don't, like, I've never cared for being the alpha or anything.
Yeah.
But then I kept hearing that term, the Sigma term, right? And I don't like putting people in those positions as like betas, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But what they said as Sigma is someone who is just as powerful as the alpha, but he's not trying to be part of the entire freaking thing that the alpha tries to control. He's just very, very strong, very knowledgeable, but he only focuses on the things that he has to put his focus to.
Yeah.
So that's what I was getting from what you were saying.
Yeah.
So I'm not really focused on having all these followers or all this fame, this money coming around me. If it comes, it comes. But I'm just focused on doing better for me and the ones around me.
Yeah. Like I still definitely want like my music to reach a lot of people. You know, that's how you get in that comfortable position where now it's like, okay, now I can quit my job. I can focus entirely on this. But yeah, like I feel like I don't know why anyone would want to be in the spotlight as much as like the Drakes, Kendricks, and J. Cole's and so, you know, like it's just
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's a question that always comes up to me. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully like in that position, like consistently doing more shows, having like a sort of like solidified fan base to where, like I said, like I don't need this day job. Like I can I can focus entirely on this. Moving out, having my own space, and yeah, like just I would hope in 5 years, because like my birthday is coming up, like I'm gonna be
On Sunday.
26, so like 5 years, like I need some more stability, you know. So hopefully I have that in like everything.
So would that be like the main focus within those 5 years, just finding a sense of stability?
Yeah.
That's it. That's definitely a good goal to have. Everyone should just be, because once you're in a stable mindset and you're in a stable body and a stable life, you know, you'll get to really focus on the things that you want to expand on that aren't as stable. You know, because I mean, 5 years, anything can happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen how much things have changed even in the past 2 years, in the past 1 year. You know, but you see that growth.
Yeah. And then I mean, even in some cases, things just happen overnight. Like,
Yeah.
there's plenty of like artist stories where it's like all it took was that one person to share it, and now it's like, holy shit, there's 100,000 views, and like, you know, like you're just there. So like, yeah, anything can happen.
My girlfriend was telling me,
years.
what happened?
I was just saying, like, anything can happen in 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to be ready for anything, right? Once that thing approaches. My girlfriend was telling me about Dominic Fike, how he was like, I think either out of prison or something, but he had to pay rent, and he was like, I'm gonna make this song, and just that one song, it skyrocketed him to like this place where opportunities started coming to him, and he put himself in that position where he's attracting those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can definitely see that happening.
I knew his name, but I didn't listen to him until his song on Euphoria. And I was just like, oh, do you watch Euphoria?
No, I haven't seen a single episode.
Man, it's a good show. But yeah, like he had a song on there, and that was when I started getting into him, and it was like damn, like he actually has like a good voice. I like him playing the guitar and all that. So I like Dominic Fike.
Yeah, but you see how that success, how you said, it has come overnight.
Yeah, it just like that.
In my case, I do video stuff, right? And there's a quote that does go around throughout all the content creators. You're one video away from changing your life.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before. Do you remember that guy that was skateboarding with the cranberry juice? For here we go, dun dun dun.
Yeah, was he like the
Cholo guy?
Yes, I'm thinking of like, was it like a TikTok or something? Or was it like, okay, yeah.
You know, and like that.
Yeah.
Companies started reaching out to him. They give him a fucking truck, you know. But it's just like it's about staying that consistency. Because yeah, you can get the opportunity, you can put yourself in that position, but are you gonna maintain it and stay in that glory by just being glorious to yourself? So how do you think you'll find or maintain that glory within yourself?
That's probably another part where like the complacency comes in. Like you have to once you get that opportunity, like you have to, don't just like be like, wow, like look at like, you can't just get caught up in like, wow, like look at all this that I've got. You have to then, okay, now that I got this, what's the next step to keep going forward or to get even more, you know?
Yeah, we'll go back to what you said earlier. Just keep trying your best every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in like like when you're putting out your content, or maybe you get that cosign from like a bigger artist or a bigger platform, something like that. You need to think about your follow-up. Or
be 3 steps ahead.
Yeah. You have to be forward thinking, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not the best at chess, but I like thinking about things kind of in a chessboard. You know, if I'm too irrational or I get too cocky or if I make the wrong move, it can be the end to everything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I've thought about the next 3 steps. I'm gonna, you know, if I do this and I play it correctly to my game, it should work out. I should be able to get that checkmate.
It's funny. I've actually never played chess, but like, I love board games, and that's one of the things. Like when I'm playing like with my friends or family and all that, and they usually like crack jokes because like it's taken me a while, but it's like it's because I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking like, okay, this person's probably gonna do this. This person's gonna do this.
Yeah.
How do I do this to counter that? Like, you know, I do think forward.
Yeah.
A lot like that.
You're
Like you said,
thinking
3
more
steps.
critically about
Yeah.
every move you make.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah.
Just in a simple board game, I think that's how board games are supposed to be played. Like, yeah, for fun, but it's supposed to challenge your brain.
Yeah. I get competitive as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good that you're competitive. I feel like in this world, you have to be competitive by nature in some sort of way. You know, so if you can implement that same strategy from your board game into real life, you kind of come to a sense of this whole game of life really is just a game. You just got to play it right.
Yeah.
We can finish on that one quote. It's not about the cards you've been dealt. It's about how you play them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get shitty cards, but you can still find your victory at the very end. Yeah. Well, it's been 1 hour and 43 minutes, man, on this podcast.
Shit, time flew.
Time really does fly. But it's been a great conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else that you would want to talk about before we end the conversation? Any question that comes into your mind?
Not really.
Like what are you hoping to be learning more about after this podcast?
Something to learn more about after this podcast. I feel like you've hit me with a lot of like inspirational quotes. So I do feel like I already reflect on myself a lot, but it's good to hear like a different perspective. Yeah. So I'd probably just do that differently, you know?
Just listen to different perspectives differently?
Like, no, like do like my reflection differently. Like you asking about like 5 years from now and just like the different topics we've gone over, you know, just
dive deeper.
Yeah, dive deeper into that and
come to a new understanding.
Yeah, something I can apply to myself, you know.
Yeah, that sounds exciting, you know, because I know that we're gonna have another podcast in the future, you know. And I said this to all the guests that come on. We're very young. We're learning every single day something new, or at least I'm hoping that we are, you know. So next time you come on, it's gonna be really, really cool to see how much you've grown. Yeah, you know. And I feel like you're going to reflect back on that to this podcast and be like, dang, like everything has just altered so much.
I might even look back to some of the stuff I said and it's like, what the fuck was I talking about? Like, you know, it might be completely different. So yeah.
And maybe you'll think about it like that. Or maybe you're like, I thought about it like this, but I'm glad that I thought like that. So that way later on, when you come to that idea again, it's like, again, how I said, you've come to a whole new understanding of it, but at least you understand it. Yeah. You know, maybe you just didn't understand it now, but now you do later on. Yeah. You know, I think that's what I'm excited for. I'm just excited for growth. You know, we still got so much to do, so much time to work. But yeah, it's not gonna come with complacency. Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest topics that we talked about, just staying complacent. And in art, the world may be moving, yeah, but your art's gonna live forever. Yeah. I think that's the main focus. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been an hour and 46 minutes. Had a great conversation with you. I asked you a lot of questions. You know, I'm glad that I got to, I guess, I wouldn't say challenge your mind, but at least dive deep with you. Yeah, you picked my mind a little bit. Yeah. Because I think how you said reflection. I've always thought about it like a mirror. You know, I say something, and you kind of say something, but it's kind of like you're saying it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you go home with that. That's what I want
Mm-hmm.
people to that come on this podcast to, leave with.
Yeah.
Just a bigger reflection towards themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited for next time.
For sure. Me too.
Thank you for coming on, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you guys happen to enjoy, this has been the episode of Diamondback. Diamondback, where can they find you?
Instagram at Real Diamondback, Diamonback. It's also my Twitter handle. Check the Spotify, Apple Music, all that.
Yeah, everything's going to be in the description down below. You guys already know. This has been episode 71 of the Kickback podcast. If you guys happen to enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. Very excited to have you on. Very excited to have you on again later on in the future. It's been fun.
It has.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode.